topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Hello and welcome to the Connected Table Live. We're your hosts, Melanie Young and David Ransom. You're insatiably curious culinary couple. We like to travel the world as much as we can and eat, drink, and explore with you and us together and inspire you to get out there and travel, taste, drink the sip, eat the cake, and get out there and enjoy life. So we are broadcasting from, well, technically, we're taking you to Hawaii. We go there a lot. If you follow us on our Instagram at the Connected Table and on our blog by the same name, you'll know we get to Hawaii almost every year.
Pretty much every year.
Yeah, for the last 20 years. We go to Maui and Kauai a lot because we have timeshares there. And we've been to almost all the islands except Lanai. Right? And Molokai. We stare at it a lot from Kaanapali Beach. We stare at the two islands and go, when are we going to Lanai and Molokai? We will. So we're really excited about our guest today, who is someone we have been wanting to have on the Connected Table for a really long time. I'm going to set it up this way. If you have gone to Hawaii and ever dined on wok charred ahi, macadamia nut local Pacific Hawaiian fish, which is amazing, Kalua pig or Marinui venison, or many other specialties that spotlight the wonderful farmers, fishermen, and bounty of the Hawaiian Islands, you can thank Peter Merriman. He's been called the Pied Piper of Hawaiian regional cuisine. The Los Angeles Times called him that. He owns several restaurants, notably Merriman's, his signature restaurants. The first he opened in the Big Island. And he is one of 12 notable chefs in Hawaii who really are the pioneers behind the movement called Hawaii regional cuisine, which started in the 80s and really was part of the American culinary revolution. When I rode that wave, because that's when I first came to New York and got involved in the food and dining scene. And it started in California and went coast to coast, so many famous chefs, and included every state just about. And we're joined by Peter. We love his food. We love the restaurants. So it's just an honor to have him join us early in the morning in Hawaii. So aloha, Peter Merriman.
Aloha, Melanie and David. And thank you for that great introduction. That was, I'm not sure it's deserving, but I really appreciate it. So,
it's deserving. It's all over. And you know, you really are among some of the greats. Many of them we know. I think we've only had one of these chefs on our show. Bev Gannon was on our show many, many years ago. So you're our first of the talented Hawaii 12. Many are still in business. I don't know of all, but it's just great to have you. We love your restaurants. We love Hawaii, and any chance we can go, we go.
It's a good place to go when you got to go.
Yeah,
that's very true.
So this is interesting. We learned that you grew up in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
I happen to know your mom. I knew your mom when I was a publicist, Woody Merriman. I pitched her a lot.
Oh, cool.
She was a legend. Right. I'm sorry the Post-Gazette just folded like everything else.
I know. Yeah.
Tell us about your life and your family. You must have had some amazing meals because your mom was probably always testing recipes. She was the food editor for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, for anyone who didn't know who Woody Merriman was.
Yeah, she, as I was growing up, she was working first. She worked for a smaller regional newspaper before she moved over to the Post-Gazette. And she retired as the managing editor, but she was the food editor for many years prior to that. And then she was, when in her retirement years, she was actually a restaurant critic. It was really fun as a chef to have a mom that was a restaurant critic because she came to me for input on how to do it, and so that was real pleasing that she had done. One of the things that she did was, for instance, that she would never write a negative review that she hadn't visited the restaurant at least 3 times. And, because having a son as a restaurateur, she realized that anybody can have a bad night, right? Kind of thing. So she would give a positive review, which you can do after one visit, but no negatives unless you've gone 3 times, and you always call the chef before you publish. So I thought that, I was really pleased to establish that sort of protocol in that industry. But growing up, my grandmother was a great cook. My mom was a very, very good cook, obviously, too. And so we were exposed to a lot. But I mean, when you think back to those a lot of years ago, I'm talking about growing up in the 1960s and 70s, and the foods that were available to us. When you look back at it now, it's kind of crazy. Like I think I had my first avocado when I went out west and when I was 18 years old. And like there just weren't so many things available like there are today. And so the cooking was different, but I did a lot. And since I love to eat, and I'm a big guy, and since my mom was working, it felt naturally that I had to learn how to cook. And often I was testing really simple recipes for her in the kitchen. So that eventually led to working with Ferdinand Metz. Ferdinand Metz was the head chef for Heinz Corporation, and my mother got to know him. And then he had a cooking class that he taught at night. And he needed a little sort of gopher boy. And so when I was 16 years old, I call myself the gopher boy for Ferdinand Metz. So that was my first exposure to professional chefs, one of the greatest chefs in the world, coincidentally. And so it was very, left a lasting impression on me, I would say. So is that
I knew Ferdinand. I knew Ferdinand because I worked at the Culinary Institute of America. Was a client. I had a million clients back then in my PR agency, and he was a great guy. I mean, what an honor to work with. Oh yeah,
he was quite a guy. He was a great chef, great man, super intelligent. He just had all the qualities that you're looking for in a chef.
So where did you end up? You didn't go to the Culinary Institute of America, though. You tell us about your culinary education and how you got your start in the professional restaurant world.
Okay, yeah. So I was accepted coming out of high school. I was accepted into the Culinary Institute of America, but I played football and also got recruited to play football at the University of Pennsylvania. And so I decided, well, I'll go to college first, and then I'll go up to the Culinary Institute. So I did. I went to Penn and did graduate, but instead of going to the Culinary Institute, I got offered a job briefly as a assistant manager at a restaurant in New York City in the World Trade Center. So I went there and stayed for a short while, and then went to Vermont, where I did most of my apprenticeship under Hans Schattler. He was the chef at the Woodstock Inn, a rock resort in Woodstock, Vermont. And a 3-year apprenticeship, and one of the great experiences of my life, because it's an old school European style apprenticeship where you have to work in each section of the kitchen, which, 6 months in the bake shop and 3 months in the butcher shop and garde-manger, hot line, cold line, everything. And, I didn't realize it at the time how unique that was. And today there's not many chefs, even some of the great chefs in America aren't versed in all aspects of the kitchen. And I feel so fortunate to have been experiencing the entire spectrum of what goes on in a profession.
I'm curious. You are a big guy. What position did you play in football?
Linebacker.
You're a linebacker. Wow.
Yeah. I wasn't very good, but I did play.
So who do you root for now?
Oh, I'm a Steelers fan. You kidding?
I knew it.
We kind of figured.
Figured as much. Those are powerful fans.
After the Steelers in the NFL, then I look for the team with the most Hawaii players, and I root for them.
There you go. And there's a lot of them too.
Yeah,
there's a lot of Hawaii boys love to play football. There's some good ones. Yeah.
So you did the apprenticeship. You learned the tricks of the trade and whatnot. What brought you originally to Hawaii?
Oh, when I left my apprenticeship, I worked a couple of places, including Europe, and then I had come back to D.C., Washington, D.C., and I was working at the Four Seasons in Washington, D.C. And you want the long story? The long story is that I didn't like my job that much, and so I gave 2 weeks notice, and the end of the 2 weeks came. This is 100% true. And I come home on my last day of work. I'm living with my brother-in-law and my sister. And I said, well, I guess I'm unemployed. And so my brother-in-law's like, well, you can't have any lazy unemployed people around here. You better get out there looking for a job. And literally the phone rang, and it was a call with an offer to come and be a cook in Hawaii. So it was basically a question of when do you need me? And they said Monday, and I got there by Monday.
That's great.
Yeah, I read you had like $75 in your pocket and a suitcase, and you just showed up.
Yeah, I had $75 in one bag, and I did blow that $75 in the bar the first night. So
So it was a lean week until that first paycheck.
it was a lean week. Lucky there's food in the kitchen.
What was it like? I mean, for anyone who hasn't been to Hawaii, that first, just even the smell of the air, the flowers, the smell of those flowers. I mean, there's a scent, there's a breeze, there's a look. What was it like to you when you first stepped in and experienced that aloha spirit?
Oh, it was just magical, Back in those days, there was no jetway at the Honolulu airport. You had got to walk down and walked across the tarmac, right?
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
You guys were probably coming there in those days too, but this is 1983, early 83, very beginning 83. And, then you just get down and you just could smell those plumeria, right? It was like perfume in the air. And then I really had that little tiny bar that was outdoors when you walked in right into that little tiny hangar that was over there. It's hard to believe Honolulu Airport was that small at the time. And there was a little outdoor bar, and you sit there and have really lousy Mai Tais, and you're just on seventh heaven. and from there, this shows how small it was back then. So I called Hans-Peter Hager, was the chef at the Maunalani Bay Hotel where I was going to be a cook. And I called him and said, hey, I'm here. I'll be coming into Kona on this particular flight, the connecting flight. And he said, okay, we'll pick you up. And I said, well, okay, who's going to pick me up? He goes, don't worry, click. And I'm like, what the heck, I don't even know who's supposed to pick me up. And sure enough, and Kona Airport was even way small in those days. And
I think it still is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty big now, but
Yeah.
There was one guy, back then they literally pulled on a wagon, a hand-pulled wagon. They pulled your luggage to the curb, and then you got your luggage. And there's one guy leaning on the side of an old beat-up car drinking Heineken. He looks at me and says, hey, you must be the cook. So they knew it was me, and that's how I got to Hawaii. But I was really fortunate to be on the Big Island in early 1983, because that was still the old Hawaii, right? And it was a really unique place. I mean, it was very expensive to live here, and there were very few products available, but just it was like living outside the country, but still having all the benefits of the United States at the same time. It was just a great, great place. And it was, sugar was still the dominant industry, sugar cane. And so it was this plantation culture. And it was really a culture like nowhere else in the United States. Of course, we're descended from a kingdom, which is nowhere else in the United States as well. But then the input of the Asian peoples who had come here to harvest sugar cane from the Japanese and the Chinese, and Portuguese, and Filipinos, just made a wonderful spectrum of different cultural influences, especially on the food. And for me, that's one of the reasons I was so excited about when Hans-Peter had called me and I was a cook back in DC. I had like 2 days to get ready, but I dashed over to the library because we didn't have internet, right? And was looking up, trying to figure out about Hawaii food, and I couldn't figure it out at all. And it turned out that really what was going on here was the tourist industry, which wasn't nearly as big as it is today, was still trying to do continental cuisine, do European cuisine, and they were totally overlooking what was going on in the local culture. And so that created an opportunity for me in there that I eventually dove into and enjoyed quite a bit.
How did you go about doing that? Because I mean, I thought about it because we didn't start going to Hawaii until early 2000s. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So, but I remember growing up in the South and traveling, and continental cuisine was it. that was the fine dining term. It didn't even have a regionality or a assignment, maybe French, but there wasn't Italian, regional Italian like there is now. And then all of a sudden, thanks to people like, Alice Waters and Jeremiah Tower and Mary Virginie and many chefs, people started looking in their backyard, locavore. You had to make those contacts because it was not something that was done in Hawaii. And yet there was an abundance of these people. I'm just trying to figure out what these people, where were they selling their products until people like you came around? And how did you go about establishing relationships?
Yeah, there were not an abundance of people growing things actually back then. Yeah, so it was really difficult. And the first thing we did was we put classified ads in the newspaper, right? That we wanted to buy local products, and only in Hawaii it was so beautiful. People just had a single tree of a mango or a star fruit or something in their backyard. They'd pick it up, and many of them would just come down and give it to us. They didn't even want money for it. It was just like, that's how they do. And so that was that was the classified ads. We were basically saying, if you grow it, we'll buy it. And then real early on, one of the first farmers that we dealt with was a guy named Tane Data. And he's a brilliant man. It's an organic farmer down in the Kealakekua district of Big Island. And we started talking with him, and there was a group of alternative lifestyle people, some AKA hippies kind of guys that lived up and down this mountain where he lived. And he realized that at different elevations, different crops would grow well. And so he came to me and said, look, I can organize the farmers down there to grow the crops you need if you tell me the crops you need. So he gave me a seed catalog and took a highlighter, and I just highlighted the crops that we would use. And little tiny farmers we're talking about now, who each, one guy volunteered to do spinach, another guy volunteered to do green beans, whatever it is. And then that way they had enough. And each person was only growing really, really small amounts. But Tame would put them all in coolers and bring them up. It was like an hour drive to where we were. Every week. And he became the intermediary between those small farmers and us. And that was one of the early things. We also did things like we planted a garden outside the Gallery restaurant, where the first restaurant where I first did Hawaii regional cuisine. Just everything I often called it guerrilla purchasing, because you had to just think outside the box all the time. Sometimes we would go spear our own fish, or sometimes we would go collect our own sea urchin. I did that quite often, actually, or whatever it was, just whatever it took. Like at one point, we noticed that the resort was trimming coconuts and throwing them away. So we said, we'll take the coconuts, and we gave them to Tane for free, and he'd take them down to Kealakekua, and somebody would grade it for us, and then he'd bring it back, and we'd buy it from him. But that's what it needed to get the pump primed, so that because prior to that, like I said, it was sugar cane, right? It was plantation economy, single large crop meant for export, not for local consumption.
Right.
So we had to get over that particular hump, and it took quite a bit of work. We're still working on it, but it took years and years of encouraging and going out to meet farmers and talking with farmers, working closely with them. Monty Richards up at the Kahua Ranch, we pioneered the use of the local lamb with him. And Aaron Lee did the vine ripened tomatoes for us, but it was really a rewarding and excitable time, because what we were doing is looking for fresh products that had great flavor, right? And that turned into being regional cuisine. We didn't know it, right? And we were doing farm to table before that had a term, but mostly what it was just a desire to have the best tasting food that we could have. So that was kind of the origins of how that all got started. Yeah.
And then you opened Merriman's in 1980. We're still in the 1988.
1988.
1988, right?
Mm-hmm. So I've been at the hotel, and after the hotel, I went up to a place called the Gallery Resort, which was on the same resort, Maunalani, as the hotel, but it was a different company doing a different thing. And that's where we first did Hawaii regional cuisine. And that's what and so forth. And one of the things then when we go, then from there, we go up the hill to Waimea, which is like, 20 minutes away, right up the mountain. It's the original Merriman's in Waimea. And so, yeah, that's in 88. And it was, really what I'd hoped to do there was like a cafe, like really accessible food is what I call it. And just super high quality. And when we went up there, it didn't work. We didn't have enough customers. We were going broke. And but a lot of our customers had been people that had dined at the gallery when I was chef down at the gallery. And so they had followed us up the hill, and our customers kept telling us, hey, you ought to raise your prices. You ought to raise your prices, which is crazy, right? Like, who owns a business that the customers tell them to raise their prices? but really what the guest was telling me, it took a while to figure this out for me, but the guests were telling me we want a little higher end cuisine than this. We don't want stew, we want steak. And so we gradually morphed into that, being a higher end restaurant. So it was years and years before I could get something that open again that was more accessible, where we could have a burger or pizza on the menu, that type of thing. That was the original Merriman's.
Well, that was the first Merriman's that we went to.
It was New Year's Eve, actually. Yeah. We spent
New
Year's. Yeah, did a New Year's in the Big Island, and here's what I remember. We had driven all over the, Big Island's big. You're driving this way and this way. And I remember we had a change of clothes in our rental car. And we literally changed into like finery to go have dinner, New Year's Eve dinner. And Merriman's, we were like in her short, whatever. It was cool. It was cool because there's elevations there, right?
Yeah, we had driven around the island to Hilo, and we stopped at Merriman's for dinner on New Year's Eve on the way back to Kona, where our hotel was.
Wow, that's a long day.
It was a very
long day, but it was so worth it.
It was a great experience.
We've only been to the Big Island twice, once for that, and then we did a Kona coffee. We actually did a coffee show with a coffee farmer one time. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So let's talk about some of your signature dishes, which then you since have opened Merriman's, your signature restaurant, in other areas. One of the most beautiful ones, and it's kind of pictured behind us, is in Kapalua in Maui. We stay in Kaanapali at the Westin Villas, which is maybe 15 to 12-minute drive to Kapalua. So we're up in Kapalua a lot. We like to go hiking on that cliff walk. Just stunning.
Yeah, that's
nice. Just stunning. And we love that whole little area, Napili, etc. Just wonderful. So you've got that stunning location in Kapalua, and then you have a Merriman's in Maui, in Popui, who we were going to go. We had to cancel the trip, but we're going to go because we go to Kauai a lot, and then Honolulu. Talk to us about this. It is your namesake restaurant, so with the name on the door, you have to have those standards. Share your philosophy and some of your signature dishes that you can never take off the menu.
Well, signature dishes. I mean, you mentioned one earlier, which was the wok charred ahi. That's just it's got to stay there forever. We did not invent that, but we claim we discovered it because it's really tataki in Japan, right? But back when we started serving it in '88 or whatever, nobody was serving that sort of thing. So that's our biggie. I think nowadays our banana bread pudding and is a banana bread macadamia pudding is a fabulous. We just can't seem to get off the menu. But the other signatures for us are a little more difficult to explain because one of our signatures, for instance, is the kahua ranch lamb. But to get fresh lamb, we have to buy the whole animal. So we butcher that whole animal every week. And there's a different cut available each day. So the kahua lamb itself is a signature dish. It's just not in any particular preparation. So really what Merriman's has come to be, what we've evolved into, and it's the same basic tenets from when I thought we were going to be a cafe, which is to use good quality, fresh ingredients. And we morphed into super high quality, locally produced, organic whenever possible. We don't lead with organic, but we do organic when we can, and we always sustainable. That's our really big point on that. So that, and also, something that seldom gets mentioned, but which we're really proud of, is the service in our restaurant. We have in Merriman's has just the greatest crop of waiters and waitresses that you could ever have, and we have so many professionals that people are dedicated and they learn and they know their food and they enhance the guest experience. So we tell our managers and all our people that we're not in the food business. We're in the guest experience business, right? And that's and too many chefs overlook the importance of the front of the house. Yeah, we're smart and yeah, we're cool because we can come up with these dishes. But if you don't have somebody on the front of it that's delivering it properly, they're going to ruin that whole experience. And conversely, they can heighten that, elevate that experience just with their knowledge and their ability to read the guests and get the guests what they want. So it's a really big part of what we do.
Well, you operate under the motto, do the right thing.
Yeah.
Explain it. And other than, we know that term from a rapper. Tell us what that means to you and your team.
Well, yeah, that quite a few years back, we were trying to come up with our motto for our company, or what's our essence, what's our driving force, and we kept all these different things that we try to do, and all our different managers and finally it just came down to it's weird. It's hard to describe what we do, but we just do the right thing. It came accidentally to us, if you will. But so what that means is that we want to do right by the guest, obviously, but then we want to do right by our employees, and we want to do right by the farmers and all the people we purchase from, and then we want to do right by the community that we're in. We feel we are forever indebted to Hawaii and the local culture of Hawaii, and then last, but I guess not in any way least, would be we're committed to doing the right thing for the environment, to make sure that there's a place for regionally grown food for my great-grandchildren someday.
Whenever we go to Hawaii, we sense that the respect for history and culture, number one. Respect for the land and the sea and the environment and the reefs, and everybody's very concerned because it is, like everywhere, constantly battering the elements, the natural elements, and then the human waste and pollution as well. So and when you live on islands, you feel that isolation. There's only so much you can do, and food is when you bring food in from the outside, it's expensive. So many say, "Oh, Hawaii is so expensive." And you're going to pay a lot when you go to Hawaii. You're going to pay a lot to get there. Or you're going to pay a lot for your hotel. You may pay, but you're on islands. It is what it is. You're paying for that uniqueness, right?
Oh yeah, that's so true. Yes, it is expensive, and things are different here, and that's why I live here.
Exactly.
And by the way, we're the furthest from any major landmass of any place in the world, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and we have more endangered species than North America put together. So it's a super unique place. And we only had one mammal prior to humans, which was the monk seal, right? There was no mammals because we're so far away from major landmass. So it's a really interesting place. And you talk about being part of the environment. We have tsunamis, we have earthquakes, we have volcanoes. So we kind of get, every type, hurricane I didn't even mention. I mean, we have every type of, you just really feel in touch with nature when you're here. And then I think to the host culture, the Hawaiian culture of the Hawaiian people, they are about the land and they're about the environment. And so it's got a really good seed for germination amongst the whole community here. I think many people feel it. And plus it's so incredibly beautiful. You don't want to wreck it, right?
It really is beautiful. I mean,
yeah.
Our whole demeanor changed. When we go to Hawaii, we are on, we travel a lot for wine and food and, I say as soon as we start writing notes, we're working. But when we go to Hawaii, we don't do any of that. We have done shows. But we even stopped doing that when we're out there. We do them when we get back because we just want to be in the moment and totally unwind. And each island is so different and special. And likewise, your concepts are different. I mean, Merriman's is fine dining and elegant. And, what I love about it is the menu has, takes advantage of the lamb, the amazing cattle. There's a lot of ranching in Hawaii. People don't think about that. They think it's watery fish. The beef and the lamb is amazing. The pork, if you're a vegetarian, there's taro, and there's amazing vegetables and fruits. It's an abundance like no other. We live in Louisiana, and there's a lot of pork and beef. It's similar. We're battered a lot by the elements, and we have it, but we don't have the vegetables that Hawaii has. We miss vegetables.
We have a lot of sugar cane.
We have a lot of sugar cane. There's a lot. We don't have the veg. We have great strawberries, and so does Hawaii. But there are other things. When we go out there, we go to the farm markets and shop, and we're just like blown away by some of the ingredients out there.
If you go to the Hilo's Farmers Market, you could swear you were in Southeast Asia. Yeah. There's just so many items you go, I have no idea what that thing is you're selling there. But,
exactly.
And it's really fun. It's really a fun thing to do. Yeah. So there's a lot of unique and interesting ingredients to work with.
We liked Hilo. It was a great town.
We have to go back to the Big Island. We tend to go to Maui and we stay up in Princeville. So that's like our base. But the Big Island is beyond anything. For anyone who is watching and listening, the Big Island is very big. And you've got this big volcano. There can be snow. You can actually ski. Right. The volcano will erupt. We walked on lava, and there was fire underneath the lava. You had to be really careful, and the lava flows. It is a long drive. Some of the starriest skies in the night I've ever seen. When we drove, we just stopped the car and looked up and went, "Oh my God!" In the middle of it is this coffee belt where they make some of the great coffee. Hilo is on one end. It's way out there. And you're right. You feel like you're almost in Asia in terms of the ingredients. It's a very small town. At the other side, you've got the fancy resorts, but still not like Maui or, Kapalua or Kaanapali, which resort. It really is still, hopefully we haven't been there in a while, but it's a stunning place, the Big Island.
Yeah, the easy way to understand it is geologically, and it goes, oldest part of the Hawaiian archipelago is in the northwest, and the youngest in the southeast. So the Big Island is the youngest, right? And so the further, like when you're up in Kauai, then you're getting really carved, extinct volcanoes, right? And in Maui, you get dormant volcanoes. The West Maui is carved. And like Haleakala is not carved because it's dormant. It's not extinct yet. And then when you get to the Big Island, you get active volcanoes. Yeah,
you sure do.
I have to say it was pretty fascinating when we hiked into Volcanoes National Park and hiked up to where the lava was still flowing past us, literally 2 feet from where we were standing. It was amazing to see.
Yeah, just incredible. And
it's standing at the birth of the earth. Yeah,
the birth of the earth. So tell us about some of your other concepts. So when we're in Maui, we go to Monkeypod a lot. That's like what we'll do is we'll walk. There's a boardwalk on Kaanapali. You can walk from if we feel like it, where we stay in Western Kaanapali. You can walk down this boardwalk all the way to where Monkeypod is in this little shopping area. And then we go have like an early supper and walk back.
So, yeah. As I was mentioning earlier, my heart is always in casual bistro cafe type food, right? And so I'd always wanted to do that place, where we could serve burgers and pizzas, and so that's what Monkeypod is. It's much more accessible. We wanted to do pizzas, but do pizzas right. So we put a real pizza oven in each Monkeypod, and we buy the 00 flour from Italy to have the right proper crust, and we all our fish are fresh, and we we make everything on site, from the hamburger buns to the desserts to everything is made on. So that was the idea. We could serve more simple food in a super high quality.
Yeah. I love those pieces, by the way. There's a truffle one, I think. Yeah, the mushroom truffle pizza. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. And then we always get the fresh catch sandwich. We love, love, love. And you've really good French fries. And the wines by the glass, the beverage program's really great. We always get, we're kind of like regulars. We go there. And,
Great.
And we love the wine by the glass. I think there's a chocolate I always get. I mean, we just, it's like a place we love to go. And it's, it's casual, no reservations. You just show up.
Right. We take a few reservations, but not many. And they're hard to get. But that's exactly what it is. And, and we decided, like, we're in an inexpensive place, but we don't have to put the wine in an inexpensive glass. We put it in a nice glass, that type of thing. But, this is a little bit off the point, but we're especially proud of our wines by the glass, because we've been working with 5 wineries on the mainland, high quality wineries, to get rid of so many glass bottles that are being shipped to Hawaii. So we worked with Obsidian Ridge and Melville, Mathiasen, Line Kaloto, and Frog's Leap, and developed a program to put super quality wines, really good quality wines, into a box and serve that for our wine by the glass program. So that's what we have at all Merriman's, all Monkeypods.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, that's great.
And it's fabulous. And we put 20,000 less bottles in the landfill every year because of this program. How's that?
How long have you been doing that?
This is I think our 2nd year. Yeah. So we're there's some kinks to work out in the system and so forth, but it's really cool. I mean, we get to work with these really cool owners of these wineries and winemakers, and these are all people who are ecologically minded. That's why they joined the program. It's really scary for a winemaker, right, to take his or her high quality wine and put it in a box.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dave, you're a wine guy, then
I am a wine. It's interesting. I actually interviewed Matt Trevisan from Line Kaloto. He's a great guy, and he's a very private guy, and he doesn't do a lot of interviews, but he felt like doing it with me, so he sat in his wine cellar and did a live radio show. It wasn't this one, cool. Sorry, Melanie.
Different one,
but it was a while back. But he was really fun. I'm surprised he actually went for that, but it's interesting to see that he did.
Matt Trevisan is like my hero.
Yeah,
this guy is so dedicated. I mean, I wish you had a recording of that show. I'm sure it was super interesting, the things he's doing on his winery. That and I know there's just one point about him is that we're sitting there in the bottom of one of his vineyards, and there's a giant old oak tree, 200-year-old oak tree. He said this thing takes like 30 gallons a day from this particular vineyard. And I said, well, cut the thing down. And he goes, oh, I thought he wanted to kill me. You don't cut down a tree, And what he's really interested in is making that land still usable 200 years from now. And it's just such a beautiful philosophy for people to have.
He's a unique guy in the wine world, I think. Really great guy.
Yeah. Well, there's some.
Of course.
Yeah, there are other, John Williams up at Frog's Leap, he's been organic for like 35 years,
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool people in that industry, including you, Dave.
Well, we think the wine list at Monkeypod is really exceptional for a casual concept. It's exceptional for the depth and breadth of it and the approachability of it as well. We tried another concept, a newer one, Ulu Kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
The West Maui resort. It was amazing. We ate we were literally oceanside.
Yeah, thank you. So ulu is the Hawaiian word for breadfruit.
Right.
So that the Ulu Kitchen is named for breadfruit, and Lahaina pre-contact was an area known for its breadfruit. It was plentiful in breadfruit. So that's the reason it's an homage to the traditional Hawaii. And what we tried to do there is try to get a spot somewhere in between, Merriman's and Monkeypod. There's not a really big gap in there. There's a little gap. We try to fit right in there. And, a lot of seafood, definitely the Hawaii influences. We're definitely using breadfruit. I think, by the way, we're serving it's an exotic, but the venison, the Maui Nui.
You ordered it.
I actually had that dish. I was going to bring it up later, but I'm going to bring it up now. It was that's where farm to table and your philosophy hit home for me, because we had been up the mountain that day and past the venison farm where you got that venison from.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh great.
And I asked our server, who was amazing, by the way, and she's from Lahaina. I can't remember what her name was, but we'll figure it out. And she said, "Yeah, we get it from that farm up on the side of the volcano." And I said, "I knew it because we passed that farm." And I was like, "So this is the venison I'm having."
It was terrific.
It was very interesting.
And I ordered something really interesting, and it was a vegetable pot pie. You also have it on Merriman's from time to time, and it just, it's hard to get really good vegetable food. I eat fish, but I was so intrigued by it. And it was just incredible because you've got the mushrooms and the cabbage and it was amazing puff pastry and breadfruit. And it was just filled. And there's such an abundance of wonderful vegetables in Hawaii. It's a great presentation. It's just fabulous.
Thank you.
Yeah, we had a great meal that night, and it was we had the best table. We were sitting right there with the boardwalk, and it was a beautiful night. And we ordered a lot of food. We had the smashed cucumber salad, which was great, and the Waiapoli Farms mixed greens. Again, you acknowledge the farmers in a lot of your dishes, and I think we had a terrific bottle of wine. It was a great night. It was definitely, and we'd never been there, so it was fabulous.
And we got to walk home.
And we walked home. I don't think we did. I think we took a cab. But anyway, it was a beautiful setting, and that was a new one for us. Are you working on any other new concepts, or are you doing other?
Yeah, well, not concept, but we're going in the fall this year, probably around November, we'll be opening the Beach House Wailea, Maui, and that'll be very similar to the Ulu Kitchen. Respects a little bit step up in price and quality from Monkeypod. Shouldn't say quality, it's really just price, because it's just different items and it costs more, kind of thing. So that's exciting. And Monkeypod Waikiki was our first venture into the breakfast business, and we have breakfast at Ulu, and we'll have breakfast at Beach House Wailea, and we have wonderful breakfast. I'm so proud of our breakfast.
You do macadamia nut pancakes?
Yeah, we do, but we do what we do. Our favorite one is the Mai Tai pancake.
Ooh.
Which we serve a lilikoi is passion fruit. So we serve a lilikoi foam on top of the pancake, and we serve it with rum butter maple syrup. They're great, and we make our. By the way, this doesn't mean much to people that aren't in restaurant business, but we make our pancake batter every 20 minutes.
Wow. The only place I eat pancakes is in Hawaii.
Well, you got to try them at our place at Ulu next time. Yeah. So it's I'm really proud of the breakfast, and Ulu has they're making their own sausage for breakfast, and then of course we have saimin, noodle soup for breakfast available too, and it's a great saimin. Really great.
Oh, that just sounds fabulous. I love Asian breakfast. We have to mention the Monkeypod Mai Tai, which is like everywhere now. Everybody's copying your Mai Tai. Kulu, organic, silver, and dark rums, Kula, Limehouse made macadamia nut orgeat, and the orange curacao and this honey lilikoi foam. It is the best Mai Tai, period, in Hawaii and probably anywhere. It is often copied. I mean, you have it everywhere, but I've seen it other places where they do it the imitation. It is fabulous.
That's a wonderful drink.
It is. Your cocktail, your beverage program is terrific, but that Mai Tai, really fabulous.
Yeah, we love that Mai Tai, and it's super popular. And even people that don't like Mai Tais like that Mai Tai kind of thing. But Jason Vendrell's our mixologist and director of beverage, and he uses the same philosophy on the drinks that we use on the food. which is use super high quality ingredients. Don't overcomplicate them. Keep them simple. Almost all of our drinks will have 5 ingredients or less, right? So you can really taste what the thing was supposed to taste like. With food, that's my philosophy on food is do high quality ingredient, perfectly executed, and then get out of the way as the cook or the chef. You got to get out of the way. Not too many sauces and too many garnishes and so forth. Just enough to highlight and elevate the flavor a little bit.
Let the ingredients be the star and not the chef.
Absolutely. We put all that effort into chasing down those farmers and developing those contacts. Let's let people, when you had your venison, you could taste venison, right?
Yeah.
Oh yes, without a doubt.
It was delicious. I mean, really exceptional. I normally don't even eat meat, and I was like, give me some more of that. So
like growing up in Pittsburgh, we had lots of venison around and stuff. My grandfather's big time hunter and all. But this venison out here is by far the best there is.
It's pretty amazing. I've had New Zealand venison, I've had American venison, I've had all kinds of different. And I used to hunt myself when I lived in upstate New York, and I'd supply a leg of venison for Christmas dinner every year for the family.
Oh, right.
And I'd do it from bullet to wrapped. So I'd do all the butchering myself.
Wow.
And do all the butchering myself. I'd skin it, marinate it, all that stuff. And I always loved venison. And this was your venison and the Maui Nui venison, which is where the farm that it comes from, is really just fabulous.
It's a access deer. It's a much smaller creature than what you probably had. You probably had whitetail in upstate.
Yeah, we had whitetail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a much smaller animal than that. So the yield is smaller, and the harvest of it is difficult because you need to have a USDA inspector out in the field when you kill the animal. And I don't want to get too graphic, but they do it at night, and they got to kill it with a single shot.
Wow.
So so that some pretty good shots out there.
And less struggle. So there's less struggle. You know, Peter, before we wrap up, tell us about you do have some wonderful philanthropic initiatives to give back, and we want to make sure we share that with our followers.
Oh boy, yeah. So philanthropic, we have all sorts of different things. I don't know where to start.
I would say the scholarships.
The Merriman's Culinary Scholarship is it's a 501c3, a nonprofit, and we pay for 4 young people per year to go to culinary school, and those people are from Hawaii. They're people they can't come from the mainland right now. So that's one of our biggest ones. But we also support Pu'ukukui, which is the top of the mountain in West Maui, the watershed up there. So this is a kind of a big issue worldwide. A lot of people don't fully understand that watersheds are super important and they need to be protected.
Right.
So we're deeply, deeply involved with that. Then after that, a lot of our initiatives are not technically nonprofit. We can't take a tax break on them, but we do them anyway. Like Merriman's Waimea became the first restaurant in Hawaii to be carbon neutral. Took a lot of effort.
Great.
To that. Like I said, with the wine box program, what am I missing in our nonprofits? And I do a lot of work on, I'm on the board at Hawaii Public Radio, and I work with the Hawaii Land Trust some, help them get a huge piece of land protected forever on the Big Island. So I think that's in general, that's our
that's a lot, but it's a community. You once you're there and you've been there a long time, you have to be part of the community. I mean, and you clearly are. Yeah. One last question: are you in touch with some of your fellow? Are you all still in touch? The chefs who were like the 12 pioneers?
Not as much. Very infrequently. A couple of them have passed away.
Yeah.
Right? A couple of them I've totally lost contact with, but I'll run into Alan here and there, and actually 3 of our chefs have passed away.
Wow.
That stinks. And I see Roy once in a while, and and Sam, of course, and the folks that are still in Hawaii and kicking around, but the ones that have moved away from Hawaii. Roger Daikon's still here, but he's not active right now. I think
Beverly Gannon sold her restaurant.
Yeah, that's right. I think she's I
Mhm.
think she's still on Maui. I haven't seen her, but she sold a restaurant, and she's probably done a lot of traveling. Probably worked her ass off for
Well,
40
I have to
years.
say that the James Beard Foundation announced the semifinalists today, and there were a few in Hawaii. I don't know them, but you may. I don't know if any of them have ever worked for you. Michaela DiBari of Sally Pepe in Lahaina.
Oh wow, great! Love that.
Yeah, Ed Kenny of Mud Hen Water in Honolulu.
Oh, he's a great guy too.
Andrew Lay, the pig and the lady in Honolulu.
Oh, good picks.
And two more. Sheldon Simeon, Tiffany's Restaurant and Bar in Wailuku.
Right here
Big
on
Island.
Maui, yeah.
And last, so it was a good representation. Yuya Yamanaka, Paris, Hawaii, Honolulu.
Oh, I don't know Yuya.
Yuya Yamanaka.
And
Yeah.
Paris,
Hawaii, Honolulu, Hawaii.
Oh, I got to go check that out. Okay.
So these are the semifinalists. So they're, they'll whittle it down to 5, as you know. But good to see, good to see the next generation.
Yeah, that's great. There's a bunch of good cooks in that outfit there. So I'm really happy to see that selection.
Well, we want to thank you for joining us today, Peter Merriman. It's amazing. You're still out there. You're still making waves. You're still doing it. And we can't wait to come back out to Hawaii and hopefully see you as well. But we love visiting your restaurant. And thank you for all you do and all you have done to put Hawaii regional cuisine on the map. It is important that we honor and respect the culture and tradition and farmers and fishermen and people who make Hawaii so special, and that we keep it that way, right?
That's right. Thank you very much. This has been a lot of fun. I really enjoyed talking. Could go on for a couple more hours.
I know. And as we like to say, mahalo and a hui ho.
Hui ho. Aloha.
Hui ho. That means until we meet again. For anyone who doesn't know, they're Hawaiian.
That's right.
You've been listening to The Connected Table Live. We hope you enjoyed the show. You can see it on YouTube on the Connected Table TV channel and hear it on 65 podcast channels. Anytime on demand, you just pick the one you like. We love sharing our friends in the industry with you. We love exploring, and we want you to always eat, drink, explore, and stay inspired with us. Always stay insatiably curious. Thank you.